The Whispering Well. There once was a small village, hidden between tall mountains and deep, dense forests that few people knew about. The villagers lived isolated, far from the worries of the outside world. In this village lived a woman named Amelia, known for her knowledge of herbs and natural medicine. Her house stood at the edge of the forest, and people often came to her for help with illnesses or injuries. Amelia was quiet and reclusive, rarely speaking and living alone, though she was friendly and always willing to help. Despite her calm demeanor, many stories and rumors swirled around her. Some whispered that she possessed special abilities, gained through her close connection with the forces of the forest. Others claimed she could speak to the spirits of nature. Amelia never said anything about these stories. One day, when the sky was leaden and dark, Amelia ventured deeper into the forest than she had ever gone before. She was gathering herbs that only grew in the farthest corners of the woods, ones she needed for a special remedy. The air grew colder, and the wind howled through the trees. The forest around her seemed to come alive, as if unseen eyes were watching her. Suddenly, she stopped. Before her opened a clearing she had never seen before, despite knowing the forest like the back of her hand. In the center of the clearing stood an old, dilapidated well. Moss covered the stones, and the wooden beam that once held a bucket was rotted and broken. The well seemed out of place, as if it were from another time. A strange, oppressive silence enveloped the clearing. No birds sang, no wind rustled the leaves. Amelia was both fascinated and uneasy. Something about this place felt wrong, yet her curiosity was stronger. Slowly, she approached the well and felt an icy chill emanating from it. She cautiously leaned forward and peered into its depths. But instead of water or stones, she saw only endless darkness. A darkness that seemed to move as if it were alive. Just as Amelia was about to pull back, she heard a soft, barely audible whisper. "Amelia," came a voice from the darkness. She froze. How could someone know her name? The whisper repeated, more insistent this time. "Amelia, help us." Her hands trembled and her heart raced. She wanted to run, to flee back to the village, but her feet wouldn't move. An invisible force seemed to anchor her to the well. The voice grew louder, and the whisper turned into a wail. "We are trapped here. For centuries. Help us. Free us." Without knowing why, Amelia reached out and touched the edge of the well. The air around her thickened and a cold wind swept through her hair. Suddenly, a bony hand shot out from the darkness and grabbed her arm. It was icy cold, and its grip was so tight that she couldn't escape. A scream escaped her as she was pulled into the black void. The villagers heard nothing that night. Only the trees in the forest rustled and the wind whistled through the village's narrow streets. The next morning, when Amelia didn't return to the village, people began to worry. 2 men went to her house, but they found only her empty cottage. Everything was just as she had left it, except her herb bag was missing. The men followed the tracks into the forest, deeper and deeper, until they reached the clearing. There, beside the crumbling well, lay Amelia's bag. But there was no trace of her. One of the men stepped closer to the well and cautiously looked inside. But he too saw only endless darkness. A shiver ran down his spine and he felt an overwhelming urge to leave the place as quickly as possible. The news of Amelia's disappearance spread through the village like wildfire. Some claimed she had been taken by the spirits of the forest. Others believed the well was cursed. Weeks passed, and no one dared to enter the woods. But the nights grew stranger. Villagers reported hearing soft whispers that echoed through the trees. "Amelia, help us. Free us." Repeated over and over again. Sometimes, in especially quiet nights, you could even hear screams that seemed to come from the forest. People began to avoid the woods, especially after nightfall. The clearing with the well was slowly forgotten, but the legends of Amelia and the lost souls of the forest lived on. And so the well remains untouched to this day, hidden deep in the forest, waiting for the next soul to fall prey to its whispers. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe to this channel, leave a like, and drop a comment.